Go ahead and get into another thing we're talking about this from now on because of where we're at in the season is the award watch. As far as rookie of the year offensively, I don't think there's anybody in the conversation except Josh Jacobs. 111 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's the workhorse MVP candidate for Raiders coming forward next few. That guy is the reason that the Raiders offense. We can rely on him for about 4 yards a carry, and that's pretty amazing. Defensively, I got Nick Bosa as the candidate right now for Defensive Rookie of the Year. A lot of people will try to argue Josh Allen. I've looked at the numbers. Josh Allen has 21 tackles, Nick Bosa 29. They both have 7, and Nick Bosa's got a pick this year. Nick Bosa's also on a team that's 8-1 right now, and one of the main reasons that team is 8-1 is pass rush. So that's my two. That's my two rookies. What's yours?
No, I agree with all of those. I think Josh Jacobs is definitely the clear runner. To me, I think Kyler Murray will be a finalist just based on merit alone. But Josh Jacobs, I think, is running away with that. And when you look at the defensive side, yeah, Bosa and Allen are the clear two front runners. Bosa's got the edge because of the record of the Niners team and because that interception and because of the national exposure, everything, you name it, he's got it. And if I had to throw one more finalist in there, I think Devin Bush from the Pittsburgh Steelers has really stepped up and played some great football this year too. But I think Bosa's going to run away with it.
I think Devin Bush, because he got off to a slightly slow start, a lot of people won't look at him as a good contender. Also, that team is not the same Pittsburgh team it's been in the past. Yes, the defense has got better, but the team is getting worse, and I think that may, unfortunately, get into the conversation. Like we discussed, sometimes a winning record can determine people's opinion on something, and that's not necessarily the fairest opinion, but it does happen. We've seen it in the past.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so my MVP candidates, I'm going to go ahead and let you tell me your MVP candidate. See how close we are.
All right, I'm going to give you three, and I think that it can come down to either any of these. And Russell Wilson is right now my front runner. He's the guy that's leading the charge, and I think he's the guy that could definitely win this competition, win this award for sure. Number two, Lamar Jackson. This guy's been an X factor for this team and is incredible. He's the reason why that they exposed the New England Patriots. He's mobile. He's changing the game, and that's what both these quarterbacks, Wilson and Jackson, have changed the game, changed position, and it's just incredible. Lamar Jackson looks like Michael Vick 2.0 in a better sense, which is an amazing stat to say. And number three, I got to go for running back on this one, and that's CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Over 50% of the snaps goes to Christian McCaffrey. He's got amazing rushing yards, amazing receiving yards. He's an all-around back, and bringing that Carolina Panthers team to 5-4 with a backup quarterback. He's my number three pick. So I think it's out of one of those three guys. But if I had to give the award right now, it'd go to Russell Wilson.
Real quick, before I tell my top three, number 4 would be Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think running backs get enough love in these kind of votes. So
I agree.
The guys I have.
I think it's a quarterback award. Sorry. I think it's a quarterback award.
You're absolutely right, because that's why that's why the Walter Payton Award is so big anymore, because of that. But I'm going to go ahead and go from 3 to 1. Number 3 for me is Deshaun Watson. He's the reason that the Houston Texans are the Houston Texans right now. He's leading that team, showing why that he was. Number 2 would be Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, again, great year, leading Seattle, just beat an undefeated team, showing why they're such a good team. And he's done it year in, year out. But my number 1 has to be Lamar Jackson. My reason why is because multiple times this year, if you go to look at the leading rusher in the NFL, like for the week, it's been Lamar Jackson. He's beating out running backs for rushing yards and throwing more touchdowns than some of these quarterbacks. I don't understand how he's not an MVP candidate in some people's. Bill Polian still eating him. I think it was Polian still eating himself alive for saying that he was a wide receiver. He really got a lot of flack coming out of college, and now he's showing that he's an MVP candidate. And I don't think it's a fluke. I think it's going to continue to happen because of his mobility and his arm strength. And I think he possibly is the front runner in, I think, my mind personally, and I think it should be in a lot of people's minds, because he's doing things that you haven't seen in a long time. Like you said, Michael Vick 2.0, but a little bit better with the arm accuracy, if I'm being completely honest. Vic didn't have the greatest middle ball to short ball, but he had a great deep ball. Um, but as
Yep.
far as that
No,
goes,
I
go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree completely with that. I think this race is very close. I think it's gonna continue to be a close race for the rest of the season. I saw an amazing stat, and I think it was a few weeks back, so it might be a little outdated. But they were showing rushing yards through a certain week, and they showed Lamar Jackson's, and they compared him to LaDainian Tomlinson. He had more rushing yards. I think it was through 8 weeks of the season than LaDainian Tomlinson had his rookie season, which is amazing. Then he's a quarterback and he's had more rushing yards than LT did during his rookie campaign as a running back, a Hall of Fame running back. So yeah, I think that Lamar Jackson easily could win the MVP if he continues. But right now, just have Wilson just squeaked over him.
And I could see that because one, we're talking about the seniority thing about how Russell's been in the game longer, doing it longer. Two, he does have more touchdowns and more throwing yards. But I just something about Lamar Jackson and the way he controls that team, I really like it, and I really think he should be the MVP this year. And if he's not even in the top three, that's a snub in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
But let's go ahead and get into a new segment we're doing called Best Bets. And what we're going to be talking about is what we think are the best spreads this week.